Well, the answer is, it rides great. I'm coming from my 690 Enduro. I've had a 500 EXC before that, and I tell you what, this rides eerily familiar to the 690. You can obviously feel the weight. It's a heavier for sure, but this whole thing KTM's got going on with this sort of saddle designed fuel tank, you can really feel the difference. Low center of gravity makes it nice in the corners. There's not too much wrong with the riding. There's obviously some small stuff that I don't like. I'll go ahead and walk through the bike real quick. One, shitty ass rear view mirrors. I'm gonna rip those off. Ugly blinkers, gonna take those off. It does come with a steering stabilizer. That's what this bar is down in there. That's a pretty nice feature. I had to add that onto my 690 CJ Designs, so you can save some money with that. This whole KTM iPad situation they got going on. Take it or leave it. I know a lot of people like technology, a lot of people don't. There are some cool features to it. Some things that I also don't like too. For example, this fuel, where it tells you how much fuel you'll have. It starts at half a tank and then goes down from there. So that means you don't know how much fuel you have from full to half. Once you get to half full tank, then it starts ticking down until empty. Don't ask me why KTM did that. That's one of the things that I have found so far that I do not like. You can change all your, what they call favorites. Quick and easy to decide what you want to put on there. Can't access your settings while you're riding, safety features, but what you are able to do is access your motorcycle traction control and your slip, whatever has to do with the slip in the rear wheel. ABS, ride mode, you got street, rain, off-road, and rally. So right now I'm in street. Basically what street is normal, everyday riding. And it changes your throttle input. So, for example, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but when I juice it, it takes a minute for it to actually kick in. It gives you that separation right there. Some sort of safety feature, I don't know. It's KTM's thing of making you ride smoother, making the ride itself smoother, and it is definitely smoother for sure. Rally mode, that's what I had my 690 on pretty much every day, all day. What rally mode does is there's no more of that lag. It's just straight throttle input to output, 100%. Off-road, again, the delay, rain, whatever, I don't know, all that fancy ass shit. I don't use it anyways, to be honest. Trips and data, so just normal trip 1, trip 2. General info gives you your 12 volt. Right now I'm reading 14.5. Here is your where it plugs in. They put a big 12 volt right there. I'm assuming they didn't put any USBs in yet. That's what these would be for. It makes sense if you're trying to run like an auxiliary power. Obviously you're not going to be able to draw the amperage off a USB, so at least they put a 12 volt in there for you. It makes sense. The tires are pretty nice that come on the bike. I don't feel any sort of vibrations or anything too crazy driving down the road. So that's pretty much it. So then KTM My Ride. So they got navigation and they also have audio input. So it's kind of neat. Honestly, most of the time, if I'm riding anywhere long distance, I have a GPS mounted, either my phone or my Garmin InReach. It does come with a GPS mount right here. You just take this off and you're able to screw your mount in there somehow. I haven't played with it too much, honestly. As you can tell, it's been raining here in North Carolina for the last week since I've had the bike, but I'm getting it out today because I want to get the video made and show you guys what's up. I know you're on the edge of buying one. A lot of people have been asking me. KTM 790, the T7, and also I don't know if you guys are tracking, But Honda's coming out with its own 700 class motorcycle. So it's the Africa Twin, the baby one. I know that's going to be pretty interesting. Africa Twin's got tons of reputation for being an amazing bike. Same with Yamaha. But we'll see. I went with KTM. Honestly, I'm partial to KTM. I've raced on my 500 EXC. I've owned the 690. Now I'm on the 790. Just kind of moving up as I get older. I'm going more from my supermoto days of wheelie and hooligan shit to, actually adventure riding and long distance touring, which I find more fun. Oh, we got a cop coming up now. Wonder who he's after. Hopefully it ain't me. Alright, so moving on. So that's pretty much everything there. Settings, you're able to access it finally when you're stopped. So favorites, you got trip. It gives you how much fuel consumption you had during your trip 1, average speed, average fuel consumption, how long you've been on trip 1. Trip 2, same thing for trip 2. Date, odometer reading, battery, which is what I have it on. You can set up to like 5 of these favorites. You don't have to have just 3. Phone signal, phone battery, etc., etc. So, yeah, see it? Once I started moving, it automatically turned itself off. Oh, no, that dude got pulled over. So as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but 72 miles, that's how much I got on the bike so far. Obviously, it's not enough to give, thousands of miles review on how I feel so far, but at least you give you kind of a flavor on the bike. So let's see, headlights. Start from front to rear. So headlights are pretty nice, LEDs all the way across the bike. LED headlight, tail light, blinkers, everything. I like that a lot. The headlight's actually pretty nice. It's got a daytime running light, which you can change. You can turn it off or on. So instead of having your typical low beam on all the time, and then you turn your high beam on at night or whatever you want to do, you can actually turn your low beam and your high beam off completely and run a smaller daytime running light, and then you have your LED light bar that encompasses the headlight shroud. It looks pretty nice. That's what I normally do during the day, and then obviously it auto switches itself over to then turning the low beam on with the image sensor on how dark it gets. It's pretty neat. It actually works pretty well, but if you wanted to, you can just go ahead into the settings and turn your low beam on. Hopefully the rain's not clogging up my camera too much as it is my visor. But alright, clutches. So it's got a cable clutch. I know what they wanted to go for. You're on single track, or not single track really on this bike, but you're out in the boondock with the woods. You are able to fix your clutch with a cable clutch. Yeah, I mean, I've been ripping around a lot on my 690. I've never had a problem with a hydraulic clutch. I, for one, prefer a hydraulic clutch. I know a lot of people do. Easier on the fingers, especially when you have to hold it. Clutch can get a little stiff. It is pretty easy to adjust. Just the simple locking screw and then an adjustment screw right here. I mean, it is what it is. KTM does make a hydraulic. No, I don't think KTM makes it. Excuse me. A company makes a hydraulic clutch conversion kit. I don't know how much it is yet. I don't know. It's kind of interesting with this bike because Raid Garage, all these other companies, they haven't made any extra parts for it yet. This is all brand spanking new stuff. So it's going to be a while until they come out with parts, so I'm interested to see what they come out with. I'm sure Raid Garage is going to come out with the rally fender, the rally shroud, like they always do. Maybe a spare fuel tank in here somewhere. On the topic of fuel, 5.something gallons, 5.2 gallons, I believe. So they filled this bike up for me when I bought it. And I haven't even ticked the halfway mark yet, so if that shows you how much the fuel is, it does pretty good. So we go in here, trip 1. I haven't touched this since I got it. It's off a little bit, 60 miles, so I went 10 miles without it on. So let's see, 46.9 miles a gallon. That's my average. It's not too bad with these off-road tires, I don't think. Again, I haven't even hit the half. It hasn't even told me I'm halfway empty yet since I've had the bike. So the fuel's pretty good. I'm actually headed over right now to go weigh the bike. I know KTM claims whatever, how much it weighs, I don't know. I can't remember on the little sheet. I know a lot of people were saying, oh no, I don't know, I think it weighs more than that, or less than that, whatever you have. I think the side was more on it, weighs more than it does less than what KTM claimed it to weigh. So I'm headed over right now to an actual weigh station, truck weigh station. God forbid it doesn't pour on me, because it looks pretty freaking dark over here. So I might have to turn around and do it another day. But we're going to go check it out, see how much she actually weighs. I know a lot of people are pretty interested in that one. As far as speed, yeah, she's quick. That was 90 right there. So they did a good work on the motor. I know it's coming from the Duke, retuned for the Adventure, what have you. It's nice. They told me at the dealer don't use it too much when you're breaking it in. I'm still breaking it in. But it does have a quick shifter on it. And the quick shifter, I mean, I couldn't help myself, I had to use it. It is smooth, real smooth. Here, I'll show you a demonstration. Bust down a couple gears here. You're probably not going to be able to tell, but I'll let you know when I'm shifting, and it is ridiculous. So, yeah. It's almost like driving an automatic motorcycle. I mean, I'm not even moving my hand off the throttle. I'm just not even using the clutch at all. Just shifting through gears. I mean, it is great. It is pretty nice. You can do that downshifting too. The only time, oh shit, it's pouring up here. Whatever. So the only way for downshifting is you do have to cut your throttle, and then you can downshift. You still don't have to use the clutch, obviously. It's still, whatever you want to call it, quick shifting. But yeah, as for downshifting, it doesn't really like it. If you hold the throttle and then downshift, motor kind of, I mean, it'll be fine, but you can definitely hear it. She doesn't like it as much as just when you're upshifting. You can just hold the throttle on what you want it, and you just power through the gears. Let's see. Adjustable compression, adjustable rebound. Pretty easy to do. Just like if any other bike that you've had adjustables, KTM does a pretty nice job. Tick it all the way over clockwise, then you go back counterclockwise on how many you want. They got sport, they got comfort, they got, what is it? Like luggage, so weight, or whatever they named it, and then they got rally or some shit. So 3 different settings, and they tell you how many clicks you should go per setting, which is kind of cool. The foot pegs, they got the little rubber on there, nice for distance riding, so your feet don't fucking vibrate to shit. Off-roading, like even right now that they're wet, I have almost no grip on these pegs if I was really bucking it through the woods like some shit out there. So you can pop those off pretty quick, actually. I think it's 1 screw that holds them in there, or no screws, it's just friction. I haven't looked at it yet. So those come out so you can actually get down to the middle so you can hook your boots in. Typical rear brake reservoir, whatever. Let's see. I'm going to drive up a little bit farther up here, and I'll show you a little bit more about the bike, but the rear part on my rear fairings, it's kind of neat. You can actually take those off, and there's built-in tool compartments in there. Pretty nice little feature that KTM came out with. Alright, here we are. Let's pull up in here. There's actually a car in here. Whatever. Range control. What's up, dude? Alright, let's go somewhere else. These range control guys can be assholes. This is all military comes land. I'll pull over right here. All right. Let's check her out. Oh. So this is the part I was talking about right here. If you actually pop this off, pull this down, this whole piece comes out. It's not too big, but I mean it's enough. This is my little tool bag, some JB Quick Weld. So I mean it works pretty well for what you need it to do. What I was thinking is probably a small toolkit in one side, and then this side's got one too, first aid kit in there. I haven't put any bags on it yet. I am going to eventually though. Yeah, it just pops right off. It's pretty easy. Putting it back on can be kind of a pain, but let's see if we can do this real quick. Look at that, nice and easy. So yeah, overall, I mean, it's really not too bad of a bike. Not too bad, I mean it's an amazing bike. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm definitely going to do a lot more miles in the saddle. I'll let you guys know how I really feel about it. But yeah, I'm sure I'll cover up a little bit more stuff on it here soon. Again, I'm on the way to the weigh station, so we'll see how much she actually weighs. A couple other things too. Preload suspension, so your rear shock, no more with that whole locking nut. It's all adjusted by a hex key and another tool. I can't remember off the top of my head. So to adjust your rear suspension, way easier than it used to be. So that's a nice feature that they added on. There's also another suspension tuning that you can do. Again, it's just as easy with a couple of screws. The owner's manual, KTM does it pretty well. The owner's manual is actually super easy to read. I went through it the other night. That's how I know about adjusting all the suspensions and everything. I'm not talking about the forks. So the forks is only adjusted by your compression and your rebound. But you have your preload adjustments, and then you got another adjustment on that as well. Yeah, I figured I'd tell you guys all the bad things, because I mean, there's tons of good things about this bike. A ridiculously amount of good things. So far anyways. Once this weather clears up, I'm going to take her off-road, put her in rally mode, ride her through all these sand hills, sand tracks. We got all this military on land. We got tons of trails and everything to rip around on. Just gotta watch out for range control. But that being said, that'll probably be, next couple of weeks. I know you guys are really looking forward to that one. Right now, all I can do, because of all this shitty rain, is just give you at least something on-road review. But like I said, I mean, this bike really is great. The small little shit that I find, it's like why did they do that? There's no, for example, there's no temperature reading for the motor. It's just the bars. Now my 690 was the same way, but I was gonna kind of expect with this fancy fucking KTM iPad they got going on, at least throw a temperature setting in there so I know. But all you can go off of is just these bars, halfway is good. Then once it gets too hot, it flashes at you. Once it's overheating, it really warns you, and I'm pretty sure it might kill the bike on you if it's about ready to blow up, so you don't blow your motorcycle up. I don't know how somebody would ever get to that point, but who knows? So I know this is another one people are going to want to see. The highway speeds and cruising. A good adventure bike, I mean, you're going to have to be doing tons of miles on the highway. So this is the Adventure R model. It's got the short windscreen. And right now I have an Icon variant helmet on. the buffeting is easily 100 times better than the 690. What I'm probably going to do is the standard model comes with a taller touring windscreen. It's changeable with the R model, so I'm going to probably put that bigger windscreen on this R model. The only reason why I got the R model is because, well, one, I like the looks a little bit better, and I like to have full adjustment in my suspension. So I was just cruising at 80 miles an hour on that portion of the highway. The bike wasn't working hard at all. It was very, very nice actually. And that part I liked a lot because, well, with touring bikes, unfortunately it's the nature of the beast. Sometimes you gotta do the miles on the highway. Thought the weigh station was here, but I think I'm on the wrong road. But anyways, yeah, so that's a great thing that I like about it. With that steering stabilizer, really, really nice. You feel like you're riding a 690. I mean, it's super light, like flicky, real flicky. But it's heavy enough so it keeps you a little bit more stable. My 690 without that steering stabilizer, cruising at, 80 miles an hour on the highway, it was real shaky. And then obviously when I put the steering stabilizer, it took that out. But I had to have the steering stabilizer tuned all the way up on her. No problems at all yet on the 690 for highway, or on the 790 for highway speed. False neutrals was something that I got a lot on my 690. It was a pretty big problem with that motor. There was a false neutral between 5th and 6th that I hit all the goddamn time, to be honest. And getting from 1st to 2nd when you're really getting on it was tricky sometimes. You'd hit that neutral in there. Not that one, not so much, but no false neutrals yet with this 790. And all the people over in Europe who've had the bikes for a while now, nobody's reported the problem yet. There was some talk out there of an oil leakage. Some seal somewhere was leaking, and then it was hitting the exhaust, and I don't know what was going on. I don't know if that was that guy's bike, but it was only that one bike. I haven't heard or seen anybody else. There's the weigh station right there. I haven't heard anybody else have that problem here in the U.S. yet. It was real interesting on the bikes getting here to the U.S. It took them way longer than it was told that they were going to. The whole emissions, I think it was something to do with the emissions, is what the dealer told me. They've actually been in the States for a while, but they couldn't clear emissions. Akrapovic and KTM were getting hammered because of some shit that was going on in California. I don't know, all that bullshit. But either way, we got the bikes now. Yeah. I can't do wheelies on her. I think it's because it's in street mode. I just tried. Something to do with... It actually says it on the manual. It says anti-wheelie setting engaged. On street, rain, I think off-road too. Maybe not off-road. Oh no, it's all... So for rally mode, you're pretty much just straight up motorcycle. No fancy stuff involved. But yeah, that's kind of disappointing. I know. I still got that supermoto blood in me. Sometimes I gotta pop a wheelie every now and then. But here we are. Let's see how much this bad boy actually weighs. All right, we're done. Just that easy. I got the results in my pocket. We're gonna pull up off here. We'll see how she did. Here we are. Drum roll, please. KTM's claimed wet weight 460 pounds. Let's pull up the little piece of paper and see what she got. This is full, by the way. I just topped it off before I came here. So 100% wet
wet. Gross weight. Wow, look at that. 460 pounds on the dot. Huh. Ain't that something? I'm actually pretty surprised that it is exactly 460 pounds. That's crazy. Cool. Well, there it is. KTM claimed 460, and we got 460. What's their whole thing with this bike? We asked, they listened, or some shit. I mean, they did pretty good. 460-pound adventure bike's not too shabby. Lighter than most, if not all. So I'm going to go over some stuff while we're here. Exhaust, going to get rid of that thing. KTM's classic, like 400-pound exhaust. Probably going to put it on an Akrapovic. Or an FMF? I'm not sure. Probably going to go Akrapovic. I like the Akrapovic exhaust on this bike. I had FMF on my 690. They're just too loud for me. Now, it's got a cat, a huge cat, probably about a 7-pound cat converter. So here's the pipe off the header. Here's the pipe into the cat. So if you can see, it ends here. So all this is the Cadillac converter. They are definitely going to make, a decat kit. I just gotta wait for them to come out with one. Nothing real different than other KTMs. Here's your rear brake oil reservoir, same as before. This is what I was talking about, the pretty fully adjustable suspension. So for your preload, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a hex bolt in there. That's how you adjust it. This is also adjustable. That's adjustable for your rear shock, compression, rebound, all that jazzy, fancy baloney. I'm going to work all the way around the bike so I don't miss nothing. LED tail lights. Ugly-ass fender with these stupid blinkers. Going to get rid of that. Fender eliminator kit. Probably one of the first things I'm going to buy. Nice ass rear tire. I like these tires a lot, actually. On the road. I haven't tested them off road yet, but on the road they are pretty nice. Rear brake, no real difference. ABS. KTM's. I think they team up with Brembo again. I'm sure they did. Don't quote me on it. Rear brake calipers about the same size as my 690, I think. You never use your rear brake anyways besides off-roading, which then you use it all the time. Front brakes are a lot better though. Front brakes are pretty nice. So double disc, everything's steel lines. Very nice. Definitely better than the 690 for sure. These things grip. They grip hard. It's real nice. Yeah. Alright. Working back, passenger pegs. Probably get rid of those. I don't ever plan on somebody riding with me. The swing arm's kind of cool. Definitely different than my other bikes I've had, but I do like that they've cut it to get rid of as much weight as possible. No real change. I mean, everything else is pretty standard. The oil cap, so I went and checked the oil. So you can watch, I'll check it right now. Oh yeah, we still good. Brand new bikes, you want to be careful. Make sure you check it because working in the motor and everything, it does eat up a little bit more oil until you finally break in the motor, and then you seal your piston rings. Don't ask me what I do to break in my bike, because 1,000 people will tell you 1,000 different answers. A million ways to skin a cat, but basically I just work through all my gears. I never go too low, I never go too high. Just full power all the way through. Riding like you normally would, honestly. A lot of people probably disagree with it. A lot of people agree with it. I don't care. Never had a problem with my bikes. That's what I do. But I did want to tell you one thing about this oil cap. What a big pain in the ass. So here's fucking KTM's big ass fancy gasoline tank they got here. I say that like a downside, but it's actually super, super nice when you're riding on it. It really is. This low weight where they have the fuel on the bottom, it's night and day difference from a big adventure bike with a fuel tank on top when you're full. God, it's great. But this, so take your little oil cap off here, because these are the small things. I mean, there's nothing really big or wrong with the bike, so I got to nitpick, you know? I got to find something wrong with it. But putting this frickin' thing on is a big pain in the ass because of this gas tank, or because of this gas tank right here. So you have to get it on. So see right here, I can't twist that on now because the fuel tank stops it right there. So you have to like fandangle it so it starts on that side. So that way by the time you get one twist in it, it just barely clears the fuel tank right there. It's crazy. I don't know. Small shit, right? But, I mean, it's not hard. It's like putting on your seatbelt in a car. It's like annoying, but it's just something that you do. Alright, continuing on. Fuel cap. Nice little feature. Opens away. Nice. I like that. I don't know if you have to have... So you can take your key out. I think you can just... Nope, so you can't. We're all learning. There you go. Boom. So you're going around. Here's that stock steering stabilizer it comes with. Right there. I don't know if it should be that loose. Oh yeah, there's a ball bearing right there. Alright, that's good. WP Explorer shocks. Very, very nice. I like that a lot. Here's that shroud that I was talking about. So these lights stay on all the time. And think of it as 3 lights. So you got your low beam, your high beam, then you got DRLs in the bottom. You can turn those DRLs off, so it's always low beam and high beam, like every other motorcycle in the United States. Or you can turn on your daytime running lights, DRL. So your low beam's not on, your high beam's not on. These are always on, and then your daytime running lights are just small little lights on the bottom that stay on. I like that because I like being able to see, I don't know, I like being able to see the LED bars without washing it out with the low beam, so I'm glad they did that. Changing the oil. Not too bad, honestly. I did it the other day just to see it, how to do it. So there's pretty much like 4, let's see, let's count them. So there's 2 here, 1, 2, 3. That one doesn't need to come off, so 3. We got 3 so far. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. More on the other side. So, I mean, I say it's not hard, but it's not that bad. Just take some bolts off. 10, 11, 12. Yep, that's it. It's 12 bolts. You got to take off to get your plate off and your gas tank guard on this side. That gas tank guard on that side can stay on, and then you kind of slide everything out this way. You have to take one of these off because this is actually aluminum. This is aluminum. These are plastic. So these I'm probably going to change. This one's good for now. Really, really light. This one's actually pretty nice. So I know KTM did a lot of crash tests on this bike. I haven't laid it down. Obviously not laid it down, but I haven't done the whole, like, just lay it over on its side to see what rubs. KTM's already done that a bunch, and it's already on YouTube all over the place of them testing, and apparently this is never broken on all their tests that they've done when they introduced it in Morocco. I mean, Christ, they just had rich people out there that are just crashing bikes all the time, and they never had a problem with it, so us normal people, I don't know. I'm sure somebody's going to break it and they're going to be like, oh, KTM sucks. But I think for everyday riding, it's probably pretty freaking safe. The radiator is pretty tucked up in there. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to bring up. The radiator is what a big pain in the ass they came up with. So, KTM, right? Classic. It's like they make such a good bike, but then they make these little things. It's like, why would you do that? It's so annoying. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but right in there, that, I'm just going to move my helmet around until maybe you can see it, is where you see the fucking, how much coolant you have. God, it's a pain in the ass to see. It's all the way up in here, and to fill it too. So check this out. Let me guess, it's probably going to be like some fucking $40 KTM funnel that they want you to buy so you can fill up your oil or your engine coolant. But this is the engine coolant cap. It's on a horizontal, right? Vertical? I don't know. Vertical. Up and down. Surface. There it is. So you got to get some like crazy fucking L-shaped funnel to get up in there to fill that thing. I haven't done to do it yet. I'm sure Walmart has one for much cheaper. I'm just going to go buy that. Nitpicking, but, I mean, I got to give something wrong. So, keep working around here. What else have I found that I don't like? All right, I've ordered the bike with cruise control. The cruise control The cruise control goes right here. I don't know how, but it does. They probably have to. It's probably a whole new assembly. KTM shipped all the KTM shipped all the 790s to the United States with like some of the parts. So I never got my cruise control in because they just didn't have it. They said that they never got one. So I got to bring the bike over to Asheville, which is like 4 hours away. Big pain in the ass. But yeah, I got cruise control and heated grips stock with the bike. So I got to wait. So I don't know how well that works yet. One thing my 690 didn't have, I know a lot of bikes do have it, BMWs, everything else. I'm finally glad that they did it on the 790, is the quick flash of your beams. So you can, you know, tell people to get the fuck out of the way or that you're there. I didn't have that on the 690, so I'd have to go between low and high. So I'm glad they added that. That's a nice little feature. So this part I'm pretty interested about. I like GP shifting. I had GP shifting on my 500 EXC when I raced it. I didn't have GP shifting on my 690 just because you couldn't do it. And if you're asking me how I did it on my 500 EXC, it was a big pain in the ass. But I got it. I had to make my own linkage pretty much. So 690 I didn't do it because I didn't want to go through that problem of fabricating linkage parts. Because on the 690, it's like a classic dirt bike. Your shifting goes straight into the motor. That's what your shift lever is attached to. So there's no real way to do it unless you fabricate your own linkage. This, I think I can do this as a GP shifting, which is kind of cool because I'm looking at it. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if this arm's going to be long enough. I could probably extend it, and you'll have to take a Dremel or something and cut this front sprocket guard off. Not off, but it's got a little notch right here for this linkage to go through. Just do that up here. But I'm pretty sure if I just flip this to this side, it would reverse the linkage. I don't know yet. I'm going to try it one of these days. But maybe not. I don't plan on racing this bike, so I don't really need JP shifting. It's just a nice feature for me. Just because it caught my eye and I saw it. It's got two radiator fans, one on the left, one on the right. No switch to turn them on, no dongle. I know 690 made one. Or there was one made for the 690 for when you're doing like parking lot shit. It was a dongle so you could just turn your fan on whenever you wanted to. If you're off-roading and it's super hot, I'm sure this is going to turn on itself. And I don't plan on, again, taking this out to the parking lot. Here is the sensor for your quick shifter. So anytime this breaks this sensor, it kills your motor. Not kills it, but you know what I mean, for a split second, so you get that super smooth shift. That's what that is right here. That's your sensor for that. Preload adjustment. I'm sure there's an O2 sensor in here somewhere, and I can't wait to find it so I can get freaking rid of it, because I hate those things. They just take up power and room. 2 plugs for your oil. or two screws for your oil. It's these two right here. I had to undo both of them. Oil filter. There's another oil filter in here too. There's 2 oil filters. The seat. So this comes off with a key. I like that. That key's nice. 690 didn't have that. Push the seat forward. This comes up. All right. So seat comes off super easy. Room right here for something. Storage. This is for your accessories. So accessory 1, accessory 2 mounts. These are what these unplugged wires are. So they got mounts. They got connections for 2 accessories in the rear, and they got connections for 2 accessories in the front. It's inside the shroud. So you can hardwire front lights, extra lights, hardwire whatever else you wanted to put in here. The air box is right here. I haven't taken it off yet, so I don't know what type of filter they have in there. It's probably paper, if I had to assume. Or it might be foam. I don't know. I haven't taken it off. Main fuse for everything. Fuse box. ABS fuses. That's that. Battery's right in here. I haven't had to take that out yet. But it doesn't look too terrible. There is a guard right here. This guard's definitely got to come off to get the battery out. I will say, I've never had a big adventure bike, but from what I've read is that usually the airbox is a big pain in the dick to get to. So apparently this is super, pretty nice that they feature that they put the airbox right underneath the seat. Makes it a little bit easier. I don't know exactly how the frick you get in there. There's 2 screws right here. And I couldn't find this in the owner's manual either. Crazy, right? I know I just raved that the owner's manual was good, and then there's nothing in the owner's manual about opening up the airbox. But either way, that's that. Small stuff. Real small stuff. All in all, what a great bike. I can't wait to log more miles in it. Do everything that I want to do. Redo the OBX, go out to Blue Ridge Parkway one of these days. Dream ride Washington State to Alaska. We'll see. But yeah, I'm sure I'm going to come up with something else, and I'll figure out how to put it in the video, but it's been a while since I made one. This is it. One of the first 790s in America.
Alright, here's another thing I found. Running a little hot. So I was worried at first. I was like, damn, is my freaking motor overheating? But I mean, this was the other day when I took it for a ride. Now granted, this is North Carolina and we got summer really early this year. It was probably about 95 degrees. So yes, everything's gonna be fucking hot, I get it. But with that being said, on my 600 CBR RR Honda, my KTM 690 that I had before this, that day that it was like 95 degrees and I was riding, it felt like I was on my old Harley Sportster with no radiator, no air cooled, it's no liquid cooled, it's just air cooled. Now this is liquid cooled, it's got a radiator on it, but it felt like that. Like that's how hot it was between my legs. Now it was real weird. I knew exactly when it was going to warm up like that because it was right before my shifts. So at about 6 grand, I could feel the heat between my legs of it heating up, like a lot. Noticeably where I was like, damn, I don't know if I like it that. I don't know if I like that. I've never had that problem with my 690. 690 ran real cool. And then my street bike, my Honda CBR 600, that does heat up when you're stopped at a stoplight. You know, you're sitting there idling, then you're like, damn, I can feel my fucking crotch heating up. It's like a swamp right now. But like driving down the road like we are right now, when I get it up in the higher RPMs, I could feel the heat on my seat. Like I put my hand down right here on the seat, and I could feel how much hotter my seat would get. So that's probably the biggest thing so far that I have found that I don't like. Now, that was when it was 95, 98 degrees. Right now it says 80. I don't feel anything. It's nice and cool. I don't have swamp ass going on, but also this is highway cruising right now too. We're going about 75, 80. So it's crazy how smooth it is. I just wanted to bring that up again and emphasize they really nailed the bike for the highway travel. But yeah, back to the hot seat. So that, like I said, that was the only time I saw it, when it got that hot. I haven't noticed it yet on this cooler day, and I don't think I will. But it's something I wanted to bring up, so that way you guys were aware of it. Here's something I want to go over real quick before I dry off too much. I just rode through a pissing rainstorm. And because the fuel tank, how they have it like saddled over and how big it is, that's how wet my boots got. Just my toes, a little damp, not even through. And then my knees got wet. My knees sit right in this little opening right here, so that makes sense. But because everything's behind the fuel tank, creates that aerodynamic push, and just, I hardly even got wet. My chest is obviously pretty wet. My crotch isn't too wet because of the fairing. So, all in all, not too bad. I guess that's another good thing about having that big fuel tank on the bottom down there. Is rain protection. Who'd have thunk it? Back in the garage. Just real quick, I wanted to show, so KTM's big old adventure bike, right? I know it's not no 1090, but check this out. I'm not going to even put a lot of work into it. Hopefully I don't hit my 600. Lean it over. Look at that. I can just drag this bike around still. That's how crazy light it is. It's nice. Real nice.